I watched Peacock's new docuseries, Casey Anthony, Where the Truth Lies, so you don't have to. This docuseries is more so towards people that know the case. I feel like if somebody watched this and they did not know all of the details about it, that they would maybe be manipulated. They knew nothing about it and they just watched this, because this docuseries was extremely biased.
I was contacted by this group when the director was still working on it to have a sit down with Tot Mom Casey Anthony. And I said, absolutely not. Because when I learned I couldn't ask the questions I wanted, I couldn't control what was happening, no way, because she's gonna do exactly what we predict. She's gonna have softball questions and lie her way through it with no one to test her, such as under cross-examination.
I don't know if she would have done the docuseries if it wasn't going to be extremely biased, but when I watched it, I actually noticed things that I feel like made her look guilty. There was a lot of things in it that were strange. She contradicted herself a lot in this docuseries, but I think that maybe if somebody didn't know anything and they didn't know all the details, that maybe they wouldn't have caught those things. It's extremely clear from the very beginning that the angle that this docuseries is trying to come from, the people that put it together, and Casey Anthony, is they're trying to paint it as though Casey Anthony's father is the one that killed her daughter, Kaylee. It's extremely clear from the very beginning that that is what they're trying to say and trying to get the person watching it to believe.
Whatever this accident was that he had done to Kaylee, and I gotta tell you this for the first time, there was an accident. George was involved, and I don't think the accident was in the pool. You know, we're after the case and everything, I said, George abused Kaylee. This is my opinion. We never discussed this, but when he abused you, was there anything that he did that you would make you think he did that to Kaylee to cause the accident?
Yeah. Absolutely. If I didn't want to, or if I said no, he'd put a pillow over my face and he'd smother me to knock me out. That happens.
Really?
That happens several times.
He'd take a pillow into your face? That could be the accident.
Possible.
He abused her to stop noises, to grab a pillow, and that would be the accident.
We're gonna back up to the beginning. First, she is talking in this docuseries about how she was essayed by her father and that he actually R-worded her from the age of 8, I believe she said, until the age of 12. She said it stopped at 12, and then that's when her brother started coming in, continuing to essay her until she was 15.
My nightmare last night, it was similar to other things that happened to me growing up. I don't know if it's just flooding back because of going back through pictures and more switches being hit and more trauma.
What was the nightmare last night?
My father was holding me down. That happens again and again and again. With my father, the abuse one day just stopped. Just before my 12th birthday, my brother started coming in shortly after I turned 12. And it stopped around the time I turned 15. Wasn't the same thing that happened with my father. My brother never me. No, absolutely not. But it was close enough. Close enough where there was a pattern.
The only thing I want to say is that in this docuseries, she admitted to lying about numerous things. She had admitted to lying about where she went, where she worked, numerous things she lied about and admitted to.
With Kaylee's disappearance, I think an accident probably happened, and I think that she did what she always did, and she lied. When I was friends with Casey, she lied about everything. When Casey was questioned by the police, she said she dropped Kaylee off at this apartment complex. Well, I used to live in that apartment complex. I think in her mind, she wasn't lying. She had brought Kaylee there before. She had never dropped her off. Kaylee had been there. I'm fairly certain that she definitely was employed at Universal at some point, whether it was like right out of high school or when she was in high school, I don't know. Again, small truths.
When I lied during this and even prior to, there was always at least some part of the truth that was a part of the lie. I did work at Universal for a very long time. And yeah, Sawgrass Apartments, that's where Annie Downing lived, a kernel of truth within the lie.
You have her building it up like, yes, I did lie about this, yes, I did lie about that, but because I'm telling you that I lied about everything, now you should believe me when I tell you that I did not kill my daughter. And you also need to believe that everything I'm saying about everybody else is true too.
I lied, but no one asked why. No one cared why I lied.
I'm sorry, you don't get to lie about so many things and then get upset when people don't believe you about everything else that you're saying. There is a child that was murdered. The whole documentary, to be honest with you, was more of a sob story about her than it was her daughter. They did have some forensic psychologists on there that said that they evaluated her and she showed no signs of being a psychopath, a sociopath, or anything like that, and that they ran tests on her about her SA stories. And they said during the testing to see if she had been SA'd that she had a PTSD response and that they believed that she had been SA'd. So I'm not going to say that that did not happen to her. It may have, but it doesn't absolve her of guilt. Now, with that being said, in the court of law, she was found not guilty. That is what happened. In the court of public opinion, people think that she was. I mean, in the 31 days that her daughter was missing, she never contacted authorities. She continued to go out and live her life normally, get tattoos, drink, party. There's pictures of her smiling. She had a new boyfriend around that time.
911, what's your emergency? I called a little bit ago, the deputy sheriff. I found out my granddaughter has been taken. She has been missing for a month. We're talking about a 3-year-old little girl. My daughter finally admitted that the baby's in the store. I need to find her.
Your daughter admitted that the baby is where?
But the babysitter took her months ago. My daughter's been looking for her. I told you my daughter was missing for a month. I just found her today, but I can't find my granddaughter. She just admitted to me that she's been trying to find her herself. There's something wrong. I found my daughter's car today, and it smells like there's been a dead body in the damn car.
Okay, what is the 3-year-old's name?
Kaylee, Caylee, Anthony.
Kaylee Anthony?
Yes.
How long has she been missing for?
I have not seen her since the 7th of June.
Is your daughter there?
Yes.
Can I speak with her?
She's downstairs. They want to talk to you. Answer the question. Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you tell me what's going on a little bit?
I'm sorry?
Can you tell me a little bit what's going on?
My daughter's been missing for the last 31 days.
And you know who has her?
I know who has her. I've tried to contact her. I actually received a phone call today, now from a number that is no longer in service. I did get to speak to my daughter for about a minute.
Who has her? Do you have a name?
Her name is Zenaiva.
There was also some searches that were found on her computer about suffocation and taking your own life and things like that before Kaylee went missing and was found murdered. Casey Anthony is saying it that even though it was found on her computer, that her dad did it. But the thing is that these searches were on her computer minutes before he would have been at work. And his phone pinged at work like 10 or 15 minutes or so after that. Casey Anthony is saying that her dad made those searches and that he worked close enough to the home that he had time to search all that stuff up and leave and go to work. Also, the comment that he had made at the funeral about Kaylee Anthony's sweet sweat smell, she started crying in the documentary and said that she believed that he did to her daughter what he always did to her.
Stand here today, proud to be the grandfather of Kaylee Marie Anthony, who not only meant the world to me, but meant the world to my family, and so many of you that never got a chance to actually hug her, smell her hair, smell the sweet sweat when she came in from outside.
Are you fucking kidding
To hear her call me JoJo, I miss that kiss on the cheek, that special hug that I tell everyone, it's so great to get a hug from someone, but to get a hug from a small child, that gives me energy like you couldn't imagine.
That's not normal. Nothing about that is fucking normal. You're outright telling the world that you're a... Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to say how much I'm going to miss things that I won't be able to do with her, because someday I'll be able to hold her hand again in God's heaven. I'll be able to take her in wagon rides. I'll be able to kiss her. I'll be able to smell her again.
And that's the angle that they were coming from. It's been 11 years and she's just now talking about all of this. Something's a little weird here. One of the most shocking things that was dropped in this documentary is, for the first time, she talked about what happened the last time she saw Kaylee.
I'm used to being on alert, especially with my child next to me. It's part of the reason she slept in bed with me so much. In my bed, with pillows stuffed against the wall, with the bed up against it, so she couldn't fall, so the bed couldn't move.
Were the doors unlocked to your bedroom?
I thought that I had locked it, but maybe not. It's possible that the door was unlocked. I know my dad was at home, but I fell asleep and was asleep for a while, and I was awoken by him shaking me and asking me where Kaylee was, which didn't make sense because I looked next to me and that's where she was. TV was still on. She would never even leave my room without telling me, even if she had to go to the bathroom. She'd never just leave me there. She knew she wasn't allowed to just be in the house by herself. And I immediately start looking around the house. Her room, what used to be my brother's room, in the bathroom, my parents' room, the garage. I go outside and I'm looking to see where she could be. She's not in her playhouse. Where is she? Why is she not here? Didn't make sense. Still doesn't make sense. She'd never done that before. Why that day?
Did you look inside the pool?
Didn't have to. By the time I came back around from the left side of the house, I came back around towards the front porch. He's standing there with her.
She said that she fell asleep and she didn't wake up until her dad came in there shaking her, which contradicts something that she says before or after that, where she said that because her dad would always come in the room, she would always wake up really easily because of being essayed by him. So she says that, but then later on she says that she passed out and she didn't wake up at all. To Kaylee, who was in bed with her, leaving the bed, or to her dad walking in. Didn't make any sense because it went against what she was saying previously. But she said she woke up to her dad shaking her, and they went looking for Kaylee, trying to find where she was.
I can see him standing there with her in his arms and hand her to me and telling me that it's my fault, that I did that. And I just collapsed with her in my arms. She was heavy, she was cold. As I'm sitting there with her on my lap, just hysterical, just staring at her, not knowing what to do. He takes her from me and he immediately softens his tone and tells me it's gonna be okay, that she was going to be okay. That's what he said to me. And I don't know how long I sat outside. I don't know where he went. He took her from me and he walked away.
This is just what blew my mind. She's claiming in this documentary that her dad essayed her, that she was a light sleeper because he essayed her, so anytime the door would open, she would hear it. She also says at one point in it that she never let her dad alone with Kaylee because of what he did to her and that he didn't want her to do any of that. Yet she was sleeping really heavy and didn't hear her dad come in or Kaylee leave or anything like that, which doesn't line up with what she said at all. It's two completely different things. You either wake up really easily when someone opens the door because your dad essayed you, or you sleep really heavy. It's one or the other. She also said later in the docuseries that she never let her dad be alone with her daughter. But in that situation, she says that she let her dad take her from her and walk off with her. And then she trusted that she was safe the whole time, that he knew where she was because that's what he was telling her, and that she had Stockholm syndrome or whatever. That literally makes no sense because you just said you never let him alone with her because you didn't trust him. And then later you're saying you trusted him for 31 days that he was going to bring your daughter back to you? What? It doesn't make sense. Her story makes no sense. She had 11 years to convolute a story and she came up with this one. There's video of their calls that they were having while she was in jail.
What's your gut telling you right now? You have the same...
that she's okay.
Okay, and your gut tells you that she's close or she's hiding?
She's not far. I know in my heart she's not far. I can feel it.
Okay.
Oh, God.
I'm remembering him coming and visiting me. I'm remembering him promising me that I would come home. I'm remembering him promise me that everything was going to be okay, that Kaylee was going to be okay. I'm remembering every fucking day that I spent here. I still need the same answers that I needed then. I need to know why all of this happened in the first place and why he pinned it all on me.
You know, I walked into your room last night and just looked around and had a couple extra little prayers and just said, you know, you're coming home soon, sweetheart. Kaylee's going to be home soon, so we can be that family again.
Like, he's telling her in there, like, she's gonna come home, this, that, and the other. Why did she never say, where did you take her? Why in the past 11 years has she never asked him, where did you take Kaylee that day, Dad? Where'd you take her? She's sitting there saying, I still to this day don't know what happened. There was no, did you ask your dad about it? What did he say? None of that. It was also really weird to me because they were trying to say, you know, people deal with trauma in really weird ways. And Casey going out for 31 days and acting like nothing happened was totally a normal response for someone that had to pretend like nothing was happening to her whole life. But then later they say that her parents, Cindy and George, getting this boat and naming it SS Kaylee to find missing children was really a weird thing to do.
They were towing like a bass boat that was totally tricked out, freshly painted. Call 1-800 missing children on the side of it.
This is the SS Kaylee Marie. That's my granddaughter, honor of my granddaughter.
They get out, Cindy's sunburned. They've been out on this boat all day long. They said, we want to do a sea trial for this boat that they must have got through their foundation. And I'm, again, thinking, well, if I was in their shoes and it was my daughter, my granddaughter, I doubt if I'd be getting a boat to go look for other missing children on a frickin' lake.
So you don't think it's weird for somebody to pretend that their daughter that they allegedly love so much is missing, but it's weird that the grandparents would paint their granddaughter's name on their boat. How can you say this one that isn't weird is clearly weird, but a normal thing that people do whenever somebody passes away, which is, you know, writing their names on things, trying to spread the word? Why would you say that's weird? But this isn't. What did I just watch? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, there was a lot more in this docuseries as well, but I feel like the most shocking thing to me was her story about the last time she saw Kaylee. Like, that's really all you need to hear, to be honest with you, because it doesn't make any sense. I truly feel like there are things that we're never gonna know about this case. Like, it reminds me in a sense of the JonBenet Ramsey case, where there's just holes and we want to know exactly what happened and we can assume what happened, but there's always some weirdness with the family where you feel like you're getting little bits of truth and a whole lot of lies. One of the things I thought was weird, I don't even know what this means. I'm just gonna say it because I thought it was weird, and maybe you guys will think it was weird too. They're interviewing Casey Anthony and she's talking about the situation. They mentioned that her dad said something about the smell of Kaylee's sweet sweat at her funeral. Casey says she didn't know that it was said at her funeral, and she said, I know that you're gonna ask me about what happened or about the last time I saw Kaylee, something to that effect. I'm not gonna answer that right now. I wanna see this thing that he said first. Why would you wanna see what your dad was gonna say first? Conclusion of me watching this docuseries is to say, I obviously don't know what happened to Kaylee. I don't know if we're ever gonna get the details about what happened to Kaylee. There's theories that it was purposefully done. There's theories that it was accidentally done and they were trying to cover it up. I don't know if I believe the accidental theory as much, only because if you accidentally killed your child, why would you go out for 31 days partying? Or if your dad accidentally killed your child, like she's trying to act like in this documentary, why would you go out for 31 days partying? Why would you act like none of that ever happened? I have a son, and I can tell you right now, he wouldn't be missing for 30 minutes before I would be calling the authorities. And if I thought somebody took him and wasn't giving him back to me, I would still call the authorities. Nobody is ever going to believe her. You can't say, yeah, I lied about everything in my life, but believe me on this, and expect people to believe you. Oh, this docuseries just irritated me, guys. Did you watch it? Was there things that you noticed that I didn't mention in this video? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts. I had to talk about this because it just blew my mind. I thought this was just insane. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe so you can see more videos from me, and I'll be seeing you guys in my next video. If you guys would like to help support me in this channel, it would mean a lot to me if you guys joined my members content. I post extra videos over there. Or if you guys would like to go to my second channel and get a little bit of extra content from me, that would also be greatly appreciated. Both of those links will be in the description down below.